Alrighty, folks. Welcome to Yates Computers Tips and Reviews, the rabbit hole year. This should be the end of the year of the rabbit hole, moving back into some of the other subjects. But this was the wrap up to the quiz. Hopefully everybody has had time to review the quiz video, to go and look at their network. Figure out, do I have the right equipment? Do I have everything I need? Did he mention things that I did not know of or understand the term or what he said? So I went, did some research and went, oops, I need that. And you went out and got the software you needed, got the hardware you needed, got whatever you needed. Maybe just as simple as doing your Windows updates to make sure all your security software you have in your Windows is up to date. So again, this is the 2022-23, the 23 quiz video, the wrap up. I know I've got lots and lots of videos about network cable and routers and switches and Wi-Fi and mesh and all this other stuff out there, and everybody's probably like, I don't care about any of it. Yeah, that's good. You don't need to really care about any of it. If you have what you like and you have everything you want and it all suits your purpose, good for you. You're good. Are you up to date? Are you modern? You don't have to be. You never really have to be modern. Modern is today too quick, too fast. Wi-Fi 6, AX, AG, AC, no, AC is still 5, AI, whatever these weird things they have out now under Wi-Fi 6. Now they're talking about Wi-Fi 6 version 2 because a lot of the features that were tried to put into Wi-Fi 6 didn't quite fit with the hardware or some issues that now it's another generational gap to this new one that you can use all these extra features or to use the full band of these features. Because again, the technology jumped so far that now the hardware was slower and had to get to where they needed to be. They need to get the hardware there. So now they're getting the hardware to the point where that's becoming more stable. So all these factors are out there. And again, that's why I threw this into the rabbit hole year. Because you might be a lot like me on technology. With pandemic started, we decided we're getting rid of cable TV, satellite, all of that stuff, all those fees we're paying for. And there was 2 or 3 services that really seemed that would fit 90% of our needs. So I signed up for those. Went from $150 with TV services down to $30. Well, that's good. Because really, when do we have the time to sit there and just watch all this stuff and do whatever we want and just do nothing? We're supposed to be out doing other stuff. Doing YouTube videos, doing postings, doing all this other stuff. Time is getting short. So why work and work and work to pay for something that we're not really going to use a lot of? That you physically have to be there at 7 o'clock to see a certain thing or you're out of luck. So life has changed. Everybody knows that. Technology's changed. So now that we're streaming so much, that put more bandwidth through the internet that I'm going to need. So one single wireless router wouldn't cut it for 2 TVs, phones, computer all to be synced up, security cameras, everything else that I've got running. So I went with a mesh network. And I had an independent router there. Now, I'm sure that's more than enough, right? Well, had issues with connectivity for streaming to the mesh. And it was not the wireless network. It was actually the TVs having issue. TV I had has wireless speakers. Well, the wireless speakers and the Wi-Fi were kind of conflicting each other because I believe it's all run off the same card in the TV. So I have my mesh units. I should have them floating around. Little tiny cube that has network port out. Run that network port out up to the TV. Hardwired to my mesh. Both TVs. So now what kind of network am I running? Am I wireless or wired? Or a hybrid? Or a crossed unit? The main bridge is wireless, but from here to the TV is wired. So it's kind of a mixed unit. So that's what brought me into doing this kind of a video. Again, you can use a wireless router and run cables all around your house and do all that type of stuff. I have those cables also. So I guess it's a smart DVD player where you can go online and stream stuff and do all those type of things. I have a network cable run into that device because it doesn't have Wi-Fi. So this is really the weird kicker to some of this, because some of the technology out there today, you can't just hook it to the Wi-Fi. You still need to have a network cable. Some of the more expensive units, I'm sure if you shopped around, I could probably find one that has the wireless feature. But due to it doing 4K HDR video, I guess that's not supported through Wi-Fi. So it has to be networked because of the bandwidth or whatever it needs. So depending on your technology and what technology you're at, it might actually throw a curveball into your technology and what you need. So that's what kind of brought up this end of year thing for everybody to go review it, to see. And some of these examples I probably bring up, probably a lot of people haven't really thought of. They're probably happy just all being wireless. Not to mention, how many devices does your wireless network actually support? This is some of those rabbit hole things where you get into choosing the right device for what you have. How big of a house do you have? How big of where your internet actually comes in at? If your internet's over on this side of your house, way over here on the corner, and you got to broadcast all the way to the other end, or if your Wi-Fi's in the middle and that covers both. Of course, they're going to tell, recommended is you put it in the middle so it covers the span. But depends on your situation and what you have and what's there, you might not be able to do that. You can put your Wi-Fi in the middle and still have problems. You can still have interference. You can still have other problems. Got a lot of videos on Wi-Fi and networking and all of those type of things. So, that's why this rang as a good end-of-year video quiz. so people can actually go review your hardware, review your cabling, review your wireless, review what you have. I did mention wireless. And I'm not only talking my wireless router or my mesh. I'm talking wireless as in your TVs, your monitors, speakers, computers. You want to know what everything is. Because if this is Wi-Fi B and you go buy Wi-Fi 6, it's going to talk. But you ain't going to get Wi-Fi 6 advantages out of your Wi-Fi B. This is the thing that I wanted to summarize for this year. Because it's really hard to explain a lot of this and to go through all of this. And you could see I've got videos and videos and videos of all kinds of stuff. Like 7 videos of network cable. You know, routers, switches, hubs, wireless, wired. There's a lot of variables out there. So this is why I did the end of the year quiz on this subject. Because however you want to connect is how you're going to connect. Some of these devices, like these TVs, what network card do they have? That is one of the shockers to me. A lot of them today that I see have a 10100 network card. Computers today. This little boy right here has 2 1 gig NICs. What bandwidth are these? Are they 10100 or are they gig? This device from this company has different ones with different NICs. Knowing that will save you a lot of heartache and a lot of pain and a lot of suffering to try to figure out, why is it slow? Why is it buffering? Why is it doing this? Why is it doing that? Again, you can go out and find things that are 2.4 or 2.5 gig, 5 gig, 10 gig NIC. You can get that in computers. I'm not too sure of too many TVs that have those. Might have to be a really high-end TV or something to get that kind of speeds, if it supports it. So these were some of those little factors that I know I've mentioned in a lot of videos, and I wanted to bring it up. Same with the wireless. Seen a lot of little weird things. 10100 NIC on a Wi-Fi 6 device. The Wi-Fi 6 device does like 8 times the speed of the NIC. Guess what? That NIC is going out to your Wi-Fi router, out to your internet. How do you capitalize on this speed off of this slow sport? So that is the rabbit hole effect of networking. That is why I'm doing the end of the year quiz on this subject. That is why I have 30 plus videos on this subject. Because this is where you can kind of burn yourself in 2 or 3 ways. You can get something too fast, get something too slow. Something just way overpriced. So, wanted to go through that. And overpriced could be buying a 6-unit mesh network when you only need 1 or 2 or 3, but you spent a lot of money on this because you thought, man, I need max coverage, I need, all of this. And you bought gig ports or 2.5 gig port on a 100 meg internet connection. So this was really a touchy, hard subject to go through a lot of this. To go through and explain a lot of it really simply. There is no really simply. You're going to have to do your homework. And again, hopefully everybody has seen the first video, gone and looked at what they have. A lot of times when I've troubleshooted people's computers and networks and other things, the main bandit or the main cause of a lot of issues were network cables. Oh man, back in the old days, you used to have Cat 3 cable everywhere. Cat 3 cable was a supported pretty much network cable. That was for token ring and other type of older structured networks. That when someone wanted a network cable, they went out to a store. I've mentioned this subject before. You go out to a store, you say, I need a network cable. The guy takes you over to this area, go, here you go. And he takes off. Because he knows nothing about that. He's gone. He don't want you to ask him a question. You'd go over there, network cable. Oh, look, there's Cat 3 or Cat 5. What? Well, Cat 3 is fairly cheap. Cat 5 was really expensive. Oh, wow. Well, okay, I'll grab this cable. Yeah, it's slow enough speeds. Back in those days, it was no problem. Today's speeds, you barely use Cat 3 for phone, analog phone. I wouldn't even use it for digital phone. Now you can't even have Cat 5. Cat 5 is unsupported, obsolete for 15 plus years. I still find that today when I go out and troubleshoot and help and do other things, Cat 5 cable. The minimum cable today is Cat 5e. Gone through a lot of videos on this. Not Cat 5 enhanced. Not enhanced Cat 5. Not Cat 5. Cat 5e is the standard. Those are all old versions of Cat 5 before it got to Cat 5e. Cat 5 Enhanced and Cat 5e stands for the same thing, but they're not the same thing. On the cable, there's more standards and more things on there. Business grades, there's 3 different type of cables, 1, 2, 3. Pluntum, non-pluntum, riser, all these other things that come into play with cables. This is where I find a lot of issues, a lot of problems. Because one of the main problems is they've gone from 10100 to gigabit, changed their main switches, computer supports it, they never upgraded their cables. And it could be just as simple as a comm room or server room, somewhere where you distribute your data, your router point, all has Cat 6 now. Cat 6 shielded. Put something like this in, plug it in, put a cable in, you run it up to your TV, and you have a Cat 3 or a Cat 5 cable that's just laying around. Been laying around for a long time. You picked it up at a thrift store, you picked it up somewhere, someone gave it to you, you found it in the trash, whatever. You didn't realize. You got to read your cable. make sure it's good. Make sure you know what that cable is. If it's old, obsolete cable, cut it up, throw it away, get rid of it. Because it's going to come back to bite you if you keep it. Just get rid of it. So that is kind of the rabbit hole. That is where I see a lot of issues, is just that cable. Could be one cable in a string of 20 different cables in the building, and you're having a certain issue because there's one old obsolete cable or bad cable. Maybe even buy a cable tester. Test all your cables. Make sure they're good. That way you know that cable tests good. Even though it's a Cat 6 data cable, I buy brand new ones that are pre-made, and every cable gets tested. Every cable. Boop. Okay, that one's good. We can use it on this project. Boop. If I make a cable, 99% of my cables I make or terminate, all are fine. I still test it. Because it's that 1% that could act up. And it could be as simple as that cable is good on the 2 pair you standardly use, but then you go to Gigabit or something else that uses, 2.5 or whatever, that uses all 4 pair, and you have one wire bad in one of those other pair that it's not using, or you have PoE that uses an outside line instead of one of the pairs you're using as data. There's 2 different style PoEs. That I did not know of. I was shocked to hear that when we had an issue. I went to look up, okay, what pairs does PoE use? Because I was pretty sure it used the brown pair. Well, I was kind of shocked to find out there's 2 PoEs. There's your active and your inactive pairs that it provides power on. I've been doing this for 30 plus years. I know what PoE is, but I didn't realize there was 2 PoEs. So, these are factors that come out. If you're working on something, these are things that can come up and bite you and drive you crazy until you get down to the simple basics of, okay, let me just test this cable, and then you go, oh, is that my whole problem, is I had a bad cable? Or you look at it and go, this is a Cat 5 or a Cat 4 or Cat 3 cable. Like, where'd this come from? And it could be just as simple as, in the videos I recommended, color coding your cables. Having certain colored cables for certain things. You can buy pre-made cables, white, red, black, green, whatever. Mention, when I make cables, I put the little boots on there that are different color. So I know where they are, what they are, who they're from, what network they're on. All of that type of stuff. You don't have to do the whole cable. There's a million options out there. These things will make it easier for you in the long run. If you have one central location, you have cables that run out to 3 TVs, and you put green boots on them, or you can put a different boot on them for each different one, for each room. Maybe you have an access point in a room you have wired, repeater, whatever you need to. You can have 2 lines of blue boots that run out, and 1 green and 1 yellow. And those 2 blue boots run to one room, or whatever you want to do. You can have them all different colors. This is something that I wanted to bring up again in this end of year, because this could help you out later. When you go to troubleshoot, try to find where that line runs, what line it is. Maybe you just don't remember what color ran where. When you go look at that device and you see what's on there, oh, it's a purple or it's a yellow. Well, then you know what line it is. Again, you can always unplug it, plug it back in, and see if the link light comes on and all. But then you're running back and forth, and you can do a lot of different things. And again, like I said, then you're running back and forth. How long does that take you to get from one place to the other, back and forth, back and forth? How much time are you using? If it's not that big of a deal, you want to waste all day troubleshooting, figuring it out, you can. But there's all these little tiny things that you may want to review and figure out what you want to do on your network. So this is why, gosh, the end of the year quizzes on this. Again, if you haven't gone and looked at your network, looked at your firewall, what you have, making sure you're at least running your Windows firewall. Download a virus scan. There, you could go online, Google what the best free firewall is, what the best free virus scan is, what the best free malware is. The software's out there. You can download and put on your computer. You can put them on all your computers. It's not like you can only use it on just one. You can use it on as many as you got. Maybe virtual servers, hyper servers. Maybe you need to set one up so it scans your network. Maybe it scans your internet. Maybe it scans your traffic. Wireshark, that will see everything that's going on your network. Maybe you need something like that running. Have videos on Hyper-V. There's a whole world of stuff out there now that really even shocked me to think of what you can actually really do now. It's not just one little thing you can do with these computers nowadays. If you have the right pro and the right versions, server, whatever you need to do, you can do a lot on them. And it's not, oh, I got server on there, it's going to do one server function and that's it. You can now load those virtual servers on there and have it do multiple servers. NIC configurations. How many NICs you got? How many lines you want to run out? If you want to share them, not share them. If you want to pair them so that they do, one sending, one receiving. If they want to load balance, you can do all kinds of stuff with these things now. So, brings me back to this little tiny computer with 2 NICs. Kind of brought up a lot of this again because here you have this little tiny mini computer. I have an unboxing on that to show you all about it with 2 NICs and Wi-Fi integrated. Kind of like, okay, why would I want 2 NICs on this computer? Load balancing, VM, to start with. I can put a virtual machine on there that uses the other NIC that won't even affect the other NIC. I can put multiple virtual machines where one virtual machine will take one NIC, one will take the other, or put 3 where 2 are on there, 1 on here, and the actual OS where it splits all the traffic. Kind of a shocking development for a mini PC, ain't it? My Celeron that I use to capture videos that now kind of brings that to light that I can do a lot more with that, can't I? Maybe you want to buy something that's a little better than a Celeron because now you can do more with it. There's some we got that are i5s. They're very quick. They're very nice. But I didn't need that. So that is part of your network, your structure, what you want to do. Especially if you're a business and you need to put something little small in just to do a VM or whatever you want it to do. It's really kind of a shocking little device to think you now have 2 NICs, gig NICs. I'm sure you can find some that probably have the 2.4 or 2.5 gig NICs, or whatever the next variety is going to be. I'm sure they probably have one, a 5 gig, 10 gig NIC. It's not what I needed, so I didn't really look. So these are the features that are out there that really kind of surprised me when it comes to this, that I wanted to do a year in so everybody really does look at what they have. And to mention again, make sure you have those updates, because that is part of your network security. Because there is firewall and I believe a free virus scan and some other stuff in Windows itself. You need to get the updates for it. You need to make sure that's updated. So those are some of the key features just with your networking, making sure you have your updates, making sure, again, you don't have your backups really in the same physical computer. Put them in an external drive, unplug it. Number one, keep that data safe. Keep that data safe, again, not only from you accidentally deleting it, but from any bad characters actually getting it and copying it off. They don't have to delete your data. They can copy your data off and have all your data because they have your backup. So, as a security standpoint for networking, backing up, and all of that things, I wanted to bring that up. I know that's not really part, but that's key of your security and your networking, to know what you have, to make sure you have that. Because again, if this is your virtual server that's doing your security stuff and you lose it, crashes, you need your backup to restore, make sure you're doing your backups. That's part of your network. That's part of everything. So, wanted to summarize that. I hope that's good enough, gone on long enough for this video for the end of the year. Between the two videos, I hope that gets everybody looking at what they have. Knowing, hey, you know what? With everything I got, maybe I should upgrade this, where I should do it, how I should do it. How far do I need to go? Again, knowing your internet speed to know what, if you need B, G, F, Wi-Fi 6, AC, anything AC or Wi-Fi 6 is pretty much above most people's internet speeds. I've been seeing a lot of internet speeds getting way, way faster. So, depending on how tech goes within this next year, you might want to get something a little quicker. But again, if your devices are Wi-Fi B or G, and you go out and get X or 6, you're not going to get that full advantage. It's going to be as slow as that device that's communicating to it. It'll communicate, but I wanted to summarize that again. So, I don't want people to go out and buy a $6,000 Wi-Fi 6 gaming router and then go, I can't stream any better on my TV. Again, that's a gaming wireless router that's designed to communicate to your gaming PC, that's designed to communicate to that very specific brand and channel and Wi-Fi network at a certain speed. So that means all your devices have to have that same kind of device network bandwidth and all of that to take advantage of that fully. So once you spend $6,000 on that, you got to spend another $20,000 on a TV, computer, PlayStation, all this stuff to upgrade to take full advantage. If If you got that kind of money, well, good for you. I'm happy for you. Go for it. I ain't spending that kind of money. So, you have other options. Thrift stores, other things. Just go look. You'll find stuff. Test it out. If it's $10, $5, whatever. Most of them will tell you if it's working, it's been tested or whatever. $5, $10, it ain't that big of a deal. $600, that's a different story. I bought some very, very, very nice devices from thrift stores. So, online, you can find them on sale. You can find all kinds of things. So, wanted to go through and explain this enough. And again, there's all kinds of features. Internal antennas, external antennas. How many external antennas? That's really one of the big things right now. 6, 8, 12 antennas. You know, all of those things are supposed to be better, but you really have to do your homework and do your research on that. If you only have 5 or 6 devices that are attached, you're not going to need 12 antennas. That is for the more devices, the more channels, and the more things that it can do. So, do your homework. I think I've gone on long enough with this for the end of year video. Want to thank everybody for watching. Yates Computers Tips and Reviews. Want to wrap this up. Want to thank everybody for watching all year. If there's stuff in here that I've mentioned that you don't know of, do your homework. Go back, watch all the other videos. And again, go back and watch last year's quiz video. It is very, very important information on there. Alrighty, thank you.